morning, everybody, and welcome to Mad Realm's Vote to Kick. I'm your host, Jim, and back with me again this week, we have Anthony Ragucci. Welcome back.
Thanks, Malthanis. Thanks for having me back on.
Happy.
I'm on a 3 streak here.
Really? I could have.
A hat trick.
Just on 2.
Well, not for Vote to Kick, but
oh yeah, that's right. That's true. So this week we've got a topic about classic MMO servers, but before we get that, we talked about complex gaming narratives last week, and as you can see over there, it's pretty solidly in the keep spectrum. So congratulations, Fenris, you won very, very solidly on that.
Thank you.
Well, we will go ahead and swap on over to the new poll and go ahead and put that in chat. So, classic MMO servers. We've got World of Warcraft Reforged, which is going to go back to its vanilla roots, I believe.
No, wait. Reforged is
That's
Warcraft
3.
3. Yeah.
The
World of Warcraft Classic is the name of...
Yeah, they'll probably come up with a better name for it, but Rift has servers. EverQuest has what they call progression servers, where they basically start the game at EverQuest launch, which, by the way, yes, EverQuest is still being supported and developed. I had no idea either. And then they re-release the content. Basically, they're effectively re-releasing the game for these progression servers. And a lot of people want them. And I will defer to my guest. I believe you're going keep for this?
I am. So pretty much, it's news to me that there are other classic servers like what World of Warcraft has done. Rift apparently has stuff like that. So I can't really talk to that stuff. So I'm going to stick with WoW just because I can speak to it most. So it's probably what I'm going to be referencing. For those who don't know, the premise of talking specifically about World of Warcraft Classic is it's literally private servers, or not private servers, what used to be kind of the private server mentality of, hey, this is World of Warcraft at the vanilla stages. I forget what patch. I think it's 1.02 or something. I actually Arlie knew, and she said it on Talking Truth the other day. That's the only reason I knew. So we're going like to the beginning. And a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for classic WoW and what that used to be and what that entailed. Oh, wait. Did you say I was keep or kick?
I thought you were... No, wait. You said kick.
Yeah,
that's right. My bad.
Okay, I was just correcting you. I was correcting you because I was thinking in my head, I was like, wait, he said keep. I'm kick. I'm voting to kick these. Kick
okay.
The classic servers. Okay. Not that it changes what I was saying. So, I think the idea of classic servers, especially in a situation for WoW, is just looking at something with rose-colored glasses, which I feel like gaming is probably like one of the greatest mediums for nostalgia. And I actually saw a Kotaku article saying the same thing, and I'm like, it's like really true. We kind of look back at games that we grew up with as kids, you know, me as a kid, maybe other people's as young adults, teenagers, whatever. All these games, and just like, wow, like what I wouldn't give to go back and play during that time, especially WoW, especially a game where like World of Warcraft really defined a lot of people's gaming hobbies, or maybe started it.
It certainly defined the MMO genre for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. So we're going back and we look at that, and it's like, wow, what a great time that was, you know? Awesome. What I wouldn't give to do AQ40 again. Hooey. But that's just thing. Like, I just made a joke because AQ40 fucking sucked. Like, doing that stuff was really hard. Vanilla WoW is really difficult and really insane. And I don't think people really quite know what they're asking for when they say, I want vanilla WoW. In your head, at a first glance, not thinking about it, surface level comment seems really cool, right? But I think once you get under the surface of what that means, it's not a really good idea. And what I mean by that is people are going to go in, they're going to get probably like 1 to 20 and maybe have a great time, play for a week, 2 weeks, And then it's going to hit them and they're going to be like, fuck, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to do 1 to 60 like it was originally and go through the hustle and bustle of playing vanilla World of Warcraft. Like, I don't think people, like, if you've never played vanilla WoW, it's really hard to explain, like, how difficult and how archaic the game was back then. It's just, it, like, and, like, the crux of the kick, argument is, hey, why would you want to do that again? Like, we don't, as, like, an adult now, like, I don't have the time for that. Malthanis probably doesn't have the time for it. Everyone's older. We definitely don't have the time for it, Times have changed, and same with gaming, our lives, everything's changed. I just don't think this kind of thing really curates to us as a 2019 society,
That's fair. Anything further on that?
No,
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
you can start up.
I'm gonna say, like, and generally speaking, I'm on board with your statement that no one really gets what Classic WoW was, and apparently Aaron is tossing me info on Twitter, so I'm gonna have to hop on over there and dig. Don't you laugh at me. I'll take everything I can.
No, I was more just laughing. I think it's funny.
So
Not
pulling up old school WoW, yeah, that's gonna be a pain in the ass. Farming for mats, spells that had reagents that you had to fill your inventory with. Hunters had to have ammunition pouches. There's just a lot of little fiddly things that people don't remember. I mean,
or they remember, but they, again, looking at it with rose-colored glasses and be like, remember when it took like 7 years to get a crafting discipline up to gap?
Okay, but before we get to this, this is the tantamount of keep right now. Quote Aaron, aka Guild Wars Monk. I know neither of you play, so please be sure to mention old school RuneScape. RS brought the 2007 client of the game back, and it's now their most popular and profitable enterprise. They update it regularly with updates that are A, voted on by the player base, and B, fit the style and gameplay of the 2007 game, providing the unique idea of a what could have been scenario that the player base really enjoys. It's positively thriving in terms of players, Twitch presence, and YouTube presence.
Can I rebut before you make a statement?
After you.
So I did discover this actually this week on my podcast that so it's MMOs past, present, future, pretty much just the hey, trip down memory lane with MMOs, and then we talk about like the modern MMOs and kind of answer some questions about the future of MMOs. I think I knew about this with RuneScape, but I don't think I actually realized it. I knew there was a RuneScape classic kind of going on here. And because my friend that was on the podcast was like, yeah, it's pretty popular, actually, like more popular than the original. So that information's kind of new to me, so it didn't like set in yet. So thank you for bringing it up. But I don't think Blizzard would ever do anything like, I don't know who the devs of RuneScape are, which is actually kind of sad. I feel bad. I feel like I should. I don't feel like Blizzard will ever give the player base that much control. I just don't think that's going to happen.
I don't necessarily think the player base is like, I honestly think RuneScape will always have a smaller player base than what Blizzard has dealing with World of Warcraft, but that probably makes it easier for them to track the kind of stuff there. So generally speaking, a 1-to-1 just here is, and my original thought when I heard that, when they were shutting down Nostalrius and all of the other private vanilla WoW servers, I thought they were just going to drop the last vanilla WoW patch into a server that was part of your monthly subscription to World of Warcraft. It would be the literal, like, not the pre-patch to Burning Crusade, but the patch before that. They would just spin up a server like that, and that would be it.
Vanilla at its entirety, from
literally the last, from no Burning Crusade mechanics.
Initial release to pre-BC. Yeah.
Just, I thought that would be it, and they just let it go. With all of its quirks and bugs and archaic game mechanics. Now, The thought there is going more off of what RuneScape does. Is the game is still in the original style, but you have a chance to take everything you've... And this is going to sound like a stretch, but it's like an idle game. You take everything you've built up, you start back over, and you're at the very beginning, and you have a chance to basically redevelop the entire game with all of the information. No, Kit, and even if you come in late, you can always type !poll to get the command in chat, to get the latest poll. You can take everything that you've learned. So, Burning Crusade, Wrath, Kata, Mists, Warlords, Legion, Battle for Azeroth. 7 expansions plus the base game the Blizzard devs have under their belt. The classic WoW, the vanilla WoW servers is honestly an opportunity for them to go back to the beginning and basically redevelop the entire experience.
It is, and me and Arlie was kind of saying, talking Scrid, the after show, like, hey, like, what if they did, like, because I'm pretty sure this is not how they're doing this, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this isn't how it's working, because we were talking hypothetically. They would literally walk you through expansions. Like, they would go, you know, vanilla. And I don't know how long they would stay in vanilla. Maybe like a year and a half. That'd probably be a good time. Then go into BC. And then go through BC. Then Wrath. Then go through Wrath. I think that would be really cool. Because I was saying, I haven't jumped back into World of Warcraft. One, because of my my fake blood pact I made to never go back. I just call it that. I didn't really do anything, you know, blood related. I'm just like, yeah, never going back. And I've stuck to my guns. But I've missed out on Cataclysm, Mists, Legion, Warlords. I've missed out on all that content and experiencing it while other people are going in. And that alone makes me not want to go back because I'm like, well, I want to see that content, but I'm not going to really experience it how it was meant to be played, you know? Or at least with like a community that's, you know, all doing the same thing. So it's a little... Sorry, my dog's itching. So it's a little disgruntling, you know? Like, I don't want to, like, go in and be like, you know, oh, let's play Mr. Pandaria, but, like, no one's here. Yay!
And you one-shot everything because you're...
Yeah, because I guess the numbers are all...
Well, I don't know how...
Azeroth.
They've... I think BFA added a system similar to Guild Wars 2 where your level is a bit more dynamic in a zone.
Okay, sure.
But I don't know if it's
I think you're correct.
I don't know if it's as flexible as Guild Wars 2's system.
So, you know, going back on what I was originally saying, if that was a thing, that would be cool. And I guess they would have to see how Classic did, period, for that to even be implemented.
Let's see here. The idea of them stepping through expansions again, I think, is solid.
Yeah, I think it is too.
And what Tavik is saying in chat is that if they do update vanilla, it'll be better off than it ever was because of all of those years of knowledge that they have. So that's one of those things that I hope they basically have all of the content that they're going to put into the game already. Like, they literally have a literal roadmap of what they're going to do. And they can just take that and be like, okay, let's nudge things this way. Let's nudge things this way. Like, okay, Molten Core. You could get set pieces that drop, like, in Vanilla WoW, Alliance had Paladins, Horde had Shamans. But an Alliance raid could get Shaman set gear to drop, and vice versa with Horde and Paladin. They could fix that. They could add the new looting system into old Warcraft. They could add resource sharing of nodes, which literally only got added in the last expansion or two.
Also, a big thing, the graphics update. Wouldn't that be awesome to play through vanilla, like with the graphics?
Yes,
like
let's get high-res textures on that Burning Crusade clown armor.
Yeah, like I feel like it would be cool. Maybe not as nostalgic. Maybe you could switch it on and off. I mean, we've seen games do that. Halo has done it with Halo 1 and 2. I'm not sure of any other games that have actually done it. There definitely has to be one. There has to be a few others. We've had a lot of remasters over this time period, but if anyone knows in chat, shout them out. But I know Halo 1 and 2 have had where you can switch between the old and the new graphics. So that's possible, apparently.
Well, I mean, that's,
I'm
that's
not
just literally change. Like, heck, Minecraft does that with texture packs. That's literally all it is. I don't know how well that would work for something like World of Warcraft because there are a lot of textures involved in an MMO. And there are considerably fewer textures involved in, say, a game like Minecraft. So that's something you might have to look at. But like that's the big thing for a keep for these classic servers is, one, you have a chance to get people who, like yourself, missed out on the burst of player activity when the content released in the first place. You have the opportunity to go back and fix things that you never had the time to do. Shit, in my job as a developer, I talked to my boss and I blocked out the entire month of December every single year in order to take care of little things on the website that I develop that aren't site breaking, but they're annoying and I want to fix them.
Wait, what you block out like, what?
The entire month of December, I stop all active projects.
Oh, okay.
Just full stop on all active projects, and I work on the little things that annoy me. Basically, the stuff that most people in development really don't ever get the time to do. You look at something and be like, I coded it so it works. I'll go back and fix it later. Never goes back and fixes it later. So that's an opportunity for these vanilla server or for these classic servers to get updated like that. And then you could introduce new mechanics like dungeon, like the actual LFG tool. Can you imagine how much easier that would have made classic WoW?
That's another thing, because like I sit here and I'm like, what if we had these old systems in classic, and we knew we had them, not we're just sitting here like being theoretical about it or hypothetical. I feel like that would make the experience way better, and I would be on the side of keep. But I know we're not going to get them. And I know it's going to get old after 2 dungeons.
That's the dichotomy here is they either give us literally that last patch of classic WoW that I mentioned, and people go back to it and they're like, holy shit, this is a terrible game. Why did I want this?
Oh, I mean, we didn't even have LFG in classic.
Right, you had and the summoning stones didn't even get added in until
BC.
That was
which Arlie, shout out to her. I did not know that summoning stones were not in the original game. I would have not have assumed that.
You couldn't even access the LFG chat channels unless you were standing next to one.
That's fucking crazy. Like that's insane. So, like you sit here and you say that and it's just like, oh my god, this is gonna suck. It's gonna be cool, but like it's not gonna be fun.
What you're gonna get is you're either gonna get the people who actually literally want classic WoW back, and I'm not
in all of its glory.
I'm not disparaging them. They like what they like. It's not hurting anyone else. I think it's I think it's a terribly designed game that is very much a relic of its time. But I'm not gonna yell at people who like things. It's not a worthy use of time. You're gonna get people who think they like classic WoW. They're gonna play it. They're gonna hate it in 2 weeks, like you already described, and they're gonna leave. So like that literal like here is a time locked classic WoW server. Go have fun. That is going to be a minor niche of the World of Warcraft player base. And then on the other hand, if you get like this classic WoW redeveloped, that hardcore group of people who thought they wanted it might like it. The people who actually wanted classic WoW are going to hate it, and they're going to say that Blizzard betrayed them. So it's kind of one of those weird situations where Blizzard is doing that thing that people want, but it's a lose-lose situation.
Well, I think everything Blizzard does is a lose-lose situation. I really don't think Blizzard, especially with World of Warcraft, can do anything to really bump themselves up. And they have in the past, but it always goes down.
If they communicate it, if they are actively communicating what these servers are going to do, I honestly think they could get, if they're, especially if they're doing the redevelopment kind of thing that is basically the entire crux of my keep argument.
Mhm.
If they do that, I honestly think they'll get a lot of people playing on this server.
And I feel like part of my kick is coming from a place that knows how Blizzard has worked these past years. They just, and I mean, I know this is really timely, but you know about the layoffs, right?
Yeah.
That's really strange. One, because apparently, like, I mean, a little off topic. Blizzard's like, apparently their games aren't really pulling in what they are expected to, and I mean, Overwatch apparently didn't hit like this threshold, and yeah, and they decided to lay off employees a day before the Overwatch League starts.
Yeah, I saw the little,
Which I don't know, understand how isn't fucking raking in money. They sold out the Barclays Center.
well,
Like, what?
That's the first thing I thought when I saw the OWL icon next to your name in Twitch chat. So it's the sidebar on them making money is more the fact that the people calling the shots are not the people developing the games.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and the reason I brought that up is because in a way, Classic is a huge risk. We're gonna know if it works essentially 2, 3, 4 months into it. When I guess so. Maybe we should look this up right now, or somebody should look this up. What do you? If you have a subscription to WoW, it's free, right?
Classic WoW server.
Or is it separate?
I'm literally just getting private server listings.
So Tavik, it is separate.
Oh, it's a separate.
Like you have to pay a separate amount of money than you were to play like the normal World of Warcraft. Because I'm pretty sure that is.
You got to buy the game, but the sub covers both, is what Kid is saying.
Okay.
So
you can't. So you have to have normal WoW to play.
Well, you have to have a World of Warcraft subscription. You have to buy. I don't know if you have to buy.
I guess Battle for Azeroth.
Like I assume you have to have a Warcraft license on your Blizzard account, and you have to have an active World of Warcraft subscription, and then you can log on to this Classic server.
Yeah. Okay. So even if you, so they're going to be getting people probably who don't play WoW anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see 2, 3, 4 months where 1 month and like the drop off is all after that. Like, I think that's really going to tell you if Classic was successful or not, or,
not that they're not going to report those numbers. They haven't reported active subscriptions.
They don't? Oh, I guess you're right.
Reported active subscriptions since mid Draenor.
I was gonna say, remember when World of Warcraft boxes were very like, not infamously, famously known for putting 1 million subscribers, 12 million subscribers, 13 million subscribers, like from.
Math.
Yeah, and I was like, I think they stopped doing it probably at Cataclysm. I don't know when. Well, like, mind you, we're shifting over to the digital age anyway, so I would assume probably around there they stopped doing that. But like, that was huge.
Well, it was they stopped doing it because as the game tapered off,
the players
well,
went down.
It's just the problem is when you report like people play the content, they let their subscription lapse. They're not constantly having their subscription running because you don't have to spend as much time in the game to do the thing, so you don't need all that extra time. So it's just like, okay, I'm done with the content, let it go. But that's kind of getting away from the Classic server bit. But like, they can't say that, oh, we have X number of Classic server players, because if you have a WoW subscription,
you're also there. Yeah.
But that's the dichotomy here. Is it's either going to be literally vanilla WoW, or it's going to be this redeveloped one, which I honestly think is their best option.
Yeah, I would agree too.
And it works it works for EverQuest. And when I was talking about the progression servers for EverQuest, they are re-releasing based on different rules that are community driven, much like the RuneScape stuff that Aaron mentioned earlier. So
can you, since we brought up Rift's Classic servers, can you like go into detail on that? Like, what does exactly that entail? Because this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Rift Prime.
And if anyone knows in chat, just chuck them in.
Rift Prime. I need to figure out what the hell. Rift Prime FAQ. How is a Rift Prime server different from the Rift Live servers? While Rift is a free-to-play game, Prime server is an exclusive server that requires a Rift patron access status, limited in-game credit shop for cosmetics. They are basic. It's basically restricted to vanilla Rift with some exceptions, and they essentially re-release content, as far as I can tell.
Okay, it looks like it's been out for almost a year.
So it's basically the same thing as the EverQuest progression servers, which they might have even gotten the idea for it from EverQuest progression servers.
I guess the reason this hasn't gotten a lot of attention is because people don't really. What is the nostalgia with Rift? There is none.
There are people who have nostalgia for Rift. It is.
Yeah, I'm sure, but like not like
the
WoW.
best World of Warcraft clone to ever remain successful. And one could argue it is more like World of Warcraft than World of Warcraft is like World of Warcraft.
Probably not wrong.
I mean, have you seen the talent trees in Rift?
I know they're pretty extensive.
It's a little bonkers, the amount of.
I was like extensive doesn't really do it justice of how crazy it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not confident Blizzard can really keep this whole WoW Classic thing going for an extended period of time, and that's really what I'm focusing on. Not at launch. I'm talking about 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, a year down the line. Like, where's it gonna go? And how much time and resources is Blizzard willing, the World of Warcraft Blizzard team, willing to put into this thing? It's it's technically like a I don't want to call it a game mode, but it's kind of like what it is, like it's a side component to World of Warcraft.
You mean you don't have a phone?
What? And I mean, but here's the thing, like sit down and look at what Blizzard is doing. Like, nobody is asking for Diablo Immortals, and they kill themselves at their own convention for it. And I was actually just listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about Overwatch, and Overwatch League has been very successful. Don't get me wrong, I love the Overwatch League; it's fucking awesome. But what has Overwatch really done in 2018? Busan and Ash? I think that's it.
They removed loot box access from Belgium players.
They really Overwatch. I love the game, but it does not have enough content. It really doesn't, and it's been a problem since day one. And if that is any correlation to how maybe Classic will be treated, I think it's something to be worried about. Well, if they're not willing to implement shit into Overwatch.
Overwatch has just as much content as League of Legends. I mean, granted, League has more characters, but that's really the only thing League has on it, and it's essentially the same game type. You have quick matches. Every match is relatively different, with team comps changing. They have constantly shifting balance or redesigns to characters. It's literally a MOBA, but a shooter. Would you say League releases characters more often? Oh, no, they stopped. They stopped doing that.
What?
They used to be doing new characters every 2 weeks.
Really?
That was years ago, though. Now,
okay, so how many characters you get a year, roughly?
2 to 4 new characters with a smattering of reworks in there as well. And when I say reworks, I mean anything from slight updates to VGU, which is visual and gameplay update.
Sorry,
that's
don't you guys have fun?
And this is talking more towards, like, I know we're dealing more with Blizzard here, since Fenris was talking specifically about World of Warcraft Classic here. That is and then, like, this is honestly the biggest issue with Classic servers, is what's the sustainability. I know people like Nostalrius had just a ridiculous number of people before it got shut down for a Classic server that was privately maintained. The question is, but the thing is, they had like different stuff implemented into the game. I think you could basically access in like the best in-game gear via vendors. Like I've seen private servers for other games like that where like experience is cranked up by multiple factors of 10 so that you don't have
have you played private servers for a while?
No.
Okay, I have.
Banned.
Yeah, destroy me. And like, even like, I've never played Nostralis, but the one I did play, it really doesn't feel like Classic WoW. And for what you just said is probably the reasons why. Yeah, like you go in and you be like, wow, I'm level 60 and I have the best gear. Let's raid.
Well, that's
like, I don't know what else to do.
That's one of the problems, though, is that if you accelerate gameplay too much, you end up with people getting burnt out faster.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can't have ridiculous grindy bullshit, because then people get frustrated. So you kind of have to strike the balance in between there. And I'm fairly certain that most people in modern gaming circles today who have never touched Classic WoW would classify Classic WoW as grindy bullshit.
Yeah, Classic is grindy bullshit, 100%.
Like my biggest, the one thing that always sticks out in my mind with Classic WoW, which I consider Burning Crusade basically Classic WoW, because they really hadn't changed anything. I remember getting to level 20 on my druid, and they're like, here's your quest to go get aquatic form. And I'm like, okay. Swim to the bottom of the ocean. And I was playing a night elf. Swim to the bottom of the ocean off the shore to get half of a pendant. Okay. Did that. Now go to the other continent and do the same thing. Meanwhile, the boat to get from one continent to the other was in a zone 10 levels ahead of me. So I either had to get to level 30 to get to the boat safely, or I had to run screaming
all the way there.
All the way there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were crossing into Horde territory, and you didn't want to get killed, and like that. Like, I think a good kind of parallel to what you're talking about is Alliance doing Scarlet Monastery. Like, I'm trying to think, what was the closest alley zone? Duskwood? No, Duskwood is on Eastern, or is in Kalimdor. No, Eastern Kingdoms.
Duskwood is Eastern Kingdoms, yeah.
Yeah.
Scarlet Monastery was near Undercity, right?
Yeah, it's in Silverpine Forest. I think that's... Wait, is that... No, Tearsfall Glades. Sorry. What's the closest alley? See now. Hillsbrad? South Shore. Yeah, you had to get the South Shore and still run up through Silverpine Forest and Tearsfall Glades, but you really had there was nothing in between, man. You were either at SM or at South Shore.
Yep. Which didn't necessarily matter if you were on a PvE server. And that's the other thing that I actually want to wonder about. Are they going to do PvP, PvE, or have one of each for this? Because that was...
shit. I didn't even think about PvP.
What was it? Terran Mill and South Shore. Like, the constant fighting between Terran Mill and South Shore. Like that was a huge world PvP area. What are they going to do about that? World PvP was literally it was literally content. Just hey, you can go stab people of the opposing faction. That was basically on the box for World of Warcraft.
And yeah, like we'll see if these kind of like events and things are recreated really like kind of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Created, you know, identical to what they were originally, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I think that's on our part too. It's just not going to happen. No, I don't know.
I really don't think that like this is why I'm saying keep, but it's like you can't just release an old game and think people are going to be okay with it, because you're going to get the tiny amount of people who want to play, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but the question is it worth keeping, like, is it worth Blizzard to, like, put money into this thing? And I also think, I don't know who from Astralis is working for Blizzard, if any, and I don't think any are, I'm pretty sure. Because I remember when they, like, kind of, like, started talking with them, once they took them down, they were, like, I guess there were, like, talks, like, oh, maybe they'll implement them into, like, a classic server team. But like I feel like if Blizzard went out of their way to kind of create a team that was like specifically designed for this for these servers, like I think it would be a totally different story. And if they really like independently just worked by themselves and they weren't like going back to like original WoW and stuff, because I feel like that's probably like, you know, there's going to be people with duties over in classic and duties in regular. And I feel like it's just like it's going to be like really half baked. Well, in the end,
the thing there is if you're redeveloping, or even if you're redeveloping, or if you're just stepping through, repeating the motions, they have a roadmap. You're not gonna need the same number of people to maintain a classic server, regardless.
True. I'm actually curious to see what the team size working on it, I guess, is.
So. I think we've pretty much exhausted arguments here. So to recap, Fenris on the kick side, you just don't think it has any sustainability, really.
Mm-hmm. The crux of my argument is, yeah, it's cool for a week or two, but like after that, like it's not gonna maintain its allure. You know, it's not gonna maintain that cool factor for very long.
And the crux of my keep argument is this is an opportunity to begin again with all of the knowledge. You are going back in time and fixing things and updating things and giving people that experience for the first time yet again. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mad Realm's Vote to Kick. I've been your host, Jim. You can find me on Twitter at MalfantasMMO. All the YouTube stuff for those of you on YouTube, for those of you on Twitch, you know, follow button, all that good stuff. The poll will be in the description. Please let us know what you think about Classic MMO Servers in the comments below, and let us know whether you voted keep or kick. My buddy Fenris over here can be found on Twitter at _the_gooch_. You can also find him at Delco Nerd Network. He does all kinds of stuff with comics and movies and games, and it's cool stuff. So go check him out there.
Yeah, this Saturday, Kingdom Hearts 3 review, 2:00. Gonna be hype. I'm ready.
Do it.
I'm raring. I got like, this is the first time I've ever written down notes for a review, and I literally wrote down notes on every world, every single one. I was like, I'm not forgetting a goddamn thing. I was like, I want to hit every fucking point of this game. I think, and it's actually a pretty easy game to hit most of the points. Well, I feel like it's kind of like
compartmentalize everything for you.
Yeah, like we're a game like Red Dead or something where like there's no way you're gonna remember everything, or it's massive. But yeah, you can check us out twitch.tv/Delco Network if you guys want to tune in, give us a follow.
But ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mad Realm's Vote to Kick. You can also find this channel live on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Talking Script, our weekly Guild Wars 2 news podcast with my fellow hosts Age, Arlie, and Deo. We've got a full house this week. Everybody's showing up this Saturday. The actual full cast.
Wow, for once.
But now that I've said something, something's going to come up or someone's going to get sick. So as you do. But, ladies and gentlemen,
Knock on wood.
I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Thank you for coming out. Hope to see you on Saturday and for next week's Vote to Kick. Have a good night, everybody.